Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today what we are going to be doing is building a modern American style town here in Manor Lords. Now what I mean by this is we're going to kind of do blocks of residential areas and have things kind of sectioned off in a block format, as that is kind of what some of these big American cities have, and I want to see how efficient this can be in Manor Lords. So obviously we're starting off with the regular stuff. I've been a bit generous to myself, I've given myself some extra starting stuff. This is more going to be about the construction rather than surviving and overtaking the map. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the key highlight moments for you all, chop it up into a bit of a video so you can see how I progress with this, and then eventually see if we can get to our end goal of making this a successful and thriving town in the medieval ages with that modern influence of architecture on the go. If you do enjoy the video, drop me a like and subscribe down below, and without further ado, let's jump into it. So first things first, we're going to have a look at what we've got going on here. We've got a pretty decent space to make this happen. So I think first things first, we're going to section off some of this land right here. Now, the food sources are going to be pretty close by here, which is pretty good. And we've also got a decent amount of flat-ish area over here. So we can start off by doing a simple road across. And I think we'll make this to around here. And then we'll take it from the edge of there, we'll pop it around here, and we will make this one here. And that can be our first block. Now, just to give you kind of a rough idea of what we're going to do going through this, we're going to do another line here, and take it from the edge of this road. And we're going to go across to the King's Road again, and build that in. And that is going to be our second block. So we're going to kind of make things in a block. Should be a pretty cool format, but we'll see how we get on with this playthrough. So initially, we're obviously going to have the logging camp. We're going to put this just to the side here. It makes the most sense. Next to this, we're going to have our woodcutter's lodge, so we're going to get that right up in there, like so, and we're going to put our saw pit down. Now, just to make sure that this fully sits in the constraints of the video, we're actually going to go ahead and make this also a block, as it were, so we can make sure that we're keeping in touch with all of that as we're going along. And this can be kind of our gathering block right here. And then I think we're going to put some hunting camps down and some berry gathering camps over at the side too. We're starting to make some good progress. I'm going to start making some industry with this, so we're going to get people getting logs straight away. We're going to get on this, and once we've built up this first little section, we should start to make some pretty decent progress. Alright, so next things next then, we want to build a granary. I think this is going to be pretty crucial to have near the food, so we're going to pop that one right there. And then the storehouse we're going to pop at the other side of these right here, so that everything can get built together. It's already shaping up to be pretty good. I'm liking where this is heading. So that's going to be our first 4 burgage plots here that we're going to build. These are going to go back to back with some burgage plots from this side up towards the King's Road. And those are going to be the ones that if I need to, they can have farms on, because the rest of them, we're going to go for a more traditional style of not too much and space, as it were, in the back gardens. More focused on actually getting the population up for as much as we possibly can and getting that nice and steady. We're also going to pop someone in the foraging hut here so we can start to get some of this food, and also somebody in the hunting camp here as well. So I think we're going to build the market area maybe at the top here, or maybe just behind these houses here. We could build a section and then fill in with some more burgage plots up this top end. That's great, we'll do that. Alright, so we've got our first 4 burgage plots up here. These are starting to get extended very gradually, and we've also got all of them starting as farms. When you put the starting resources up, you actually get quite a lot of money to start with, so that's really nice. So we're going to get all of those going just to give us a better idea. The marketplace is set up behind it here, and it's actually starting to look pretty good. Alright, so we now have our first new family moving in, which is pretty nice. We're starting to actually get some progress here. We're starting to grow up this town of ours. Now, we are actually going to need to get a few more logistical stuff going on so we can move some of these supplies out of their initial starting locations so we can start to build up these roads. Alright, so we now have our wooden church built. That is going to allow us to hopefully get our approval rating fairly sharpish up. And that way we're going to be able to get more families moving into these burgage plots. And once they have done that, we're looking at 7 right now. We can only actually get 1 more. So we're going to need to start setting up these extra burgage plots down here. So in the meantime, what we are doing is we are upgrading our first hitching post to a small stable. We've also built a second hitching post and ordered ourselves a second oxen. So we're already on track for getting a bit more of the logistics up so that we can actually start to make these things get built quicker, get the transport going faster. So this should help us to really develop this town much faster. So that's where we're heading right now. But then obviously you can see the layout that we're hoping to aim for over here once we get a few more timber. We just need another 5 or so to be able to build this, and then we're going to fill in this area with houses, and that is our first block, as it were, completed. And that is our first settlement level increased, so we can now go ahead and have a look here what we want to do. Now, sometimes I go for the trade logistics one when I'm playing for actual fighting, but in this, because we're not going to get any bandit assaults or anything like that, it's not going to be too important. We aren't going to be able to sustain ourselves, hopefully. So we're going to have a look at some more self-sustaining things, and I think one of the most important things for that is probably going to be the apple orchard, because it produces apples for us. That harvest happens around September every year. First 3 years, we're going to have less apples, but then after that, we're going to get the full amount, as it were, and I think this could do nicely for our burgage pots that are going to be backed up onto the ones that have currently got farms in. So I think that's what we're going to aim to get going right now. Right, so what we're now going to do is up our plank surplus to 30, which means we can sell 32 currently. We've bought ourselves that trade route, and that's going to be starting to export planks at 2 each, which is a pretty decent amount, and it's going to start to net us a good amount of regional wealth. Now, that's going to be great because we're then going to start to upgrade these areas to the orchards, and we're going to need 50 per, and we've built 5 houses here. So that's 250 regional wealth we need right there. So we're going to get to work on that, as well as starting to expand the rest of our repertoire here in the village and start to bulk out these blocks to make them exactly what we're after. Okay, so we have now got our first official block up and done. I do wish I'd done kind of a road across here before I built the marketplace, but unfortunately we can't go in and edit that kind of size of the marketplace after it's already been built. So we're going to have to leave that now and live with it as it is. But we have got these divided up into 2, and we're going to go across here and probably cut this in half and then quarters to make it a little bit more accessible for the villagers. Now, what we've also done is expanded a few squares over to the side just as a layout, and what we're doing here is actually building a stonecutters camp and a mining pit. So essentially what we're going to do is start to get our stone coming in and also this rich deposit of iron, so we can start making some money from those. So both those things are going to be very, very important, and they're going to be great to get on with. So that's the mining pit done. We're going to get people in there, and we're going to get the stone gathering going on very sharpish as well. Okay, so we have now got a couple of these burgage plots set up with some orchards in, and we've got a chicken coop here. We're going to build both of these into coops as well, or maybe one more orchard and another coop, just to get a bit of food variety going on for the village. We may end up doing some of these blocks, as it were, into farms, but we'll see how we get on with this, and we're going to try and speed up the growth a bit exponentially now. Right, so we have made some big changes. As you guys can now see, we've put some burgage plots where the old marketplace was, popped a road across there, and actually moved the marketplace to the kind of central hub of this town. So that's given it a better location. Off the back of that, we've been able to upgrade quite a lot of our burgage plots to level 2, as well as significantly increase our population. We're already up to 30 families. With a lot of stuff, you'll see fuel is only 5 months at the moment, but we've got more people working on that as we speak. And we also have food for 14 months, and that's actually just gone up twice in our development process here. So we are now at large village, which means we've got 2 points to spend. I better spend them before we earn any more, because we're growing exponentially very, very quickly here. So what we're going to get here to keep up with the demand of the food is beekeeping. So this is going to allow us to build an apiary, and we're going to be able to build 2 of these, which is going to allow us to collect honey, which is really good. We can also upgrade that to be able to collect wax, which can net us a bit of money, but right now we're not too focused on money. We want to be focused on kind of expanding the village. Now, what we could do as well then is go for charcoal and kiln. This will allow us to convert 1 firewood into 2 charcoal, making the refueling twice as efficient, which I think for this style of build that we're doing right here is going to be very good. So we're going to also grab that one. Now that's done, we're going to need to build both a charcoal kiln and an apiary, so we're going to look on those ones real fast and get a couple of these popped down. Now, as you'll see, we've managed to expand over here and build 5 fields as well as a farmhouse. So what we're going to do is just next to the farmhouse here, we're going to pop down these apiaries. This is going to allow us to collect that honey. And then right down the bottom here, we are going to be able to whack in that charcoal kiln as well, which will start us getting well on the way to getting a lot of fuel for the village, which is going to be essential. So this is what we're looking like right now. All of these blocks are filled in. If we scroll out, you get a better picture of what we're eventually going to do. My idea is that I'm going to create another block in this bottom left corner and keep that, and keep this middle section here where the animals are and where the berries are as the wild area, almost like a kind of Central Park style vibe, if you will, and then we're going to expand towards this back corner a little bit more to build around this as well. So this is the early progression that you guys can see for the village. Alright, just for an update as to where we are, you can see we've expanded a pretty decent amount right now. We've got a lot of houses on the go, room for 62 families, and we've currently got in here 58. This is rapidly growing. We've got a good amount of regional wealth, and we're well on our way. We've got a lot of oxen, all that kind of stuff. The main thing we need right now is clay to be able to upgrade our church, to get those tiles going. But our nearest source of clay is right on the other side of this zone. We have got 240 there though, so we're going to start to move out that way a little bit to grab that in a moment, so that we can start to expand and then upgrade to level 3. That will get us our next section of small town settlement right here, which is essentially what we are aiming for, is getting past that point. And as you can see, this kind of blocks, as it were, or like kind of square format, as you would see in modern American architecture, it's actually working out pretty decently well. We've got our main market stall still in the middle. We have got another one over here just in case some of these houses needed it, but it seems like they're fine using this one for now. And we're starting to really pump out quite a decent bit of food. You can see mainly that is vegetables. We've got some apples in there now. We can start to expand some more orchards, maybe build some houses with bigger gardens again for those. Couple of eggs in there. Bread we're going to be working on. We're starting to get some crops going now on these farms when they are ready. So we can start to make a bit of bread there, as well as the ale for the tavern to expand on that. And on top of that, what we're also going to be able to do with food very shortly is get berries back in the seasonal thing, some meat back when that is available. And we're also starting to get, as you can see there, one honey. We're starting to get that creeping up as we've got those built. This is going to give us a little bit of food variety. Now, the other thing we can do with this much regional wealth is, of course, as well, import some food. But I really want to wait until we get a level up, and we're going to do trade logistics, and then we're going to go into better deals. Essentially, what that will do is allow us to set up trade routes cheaper, and then obviously reduce the tariff from foreign imports, reducing all prices by 10. These are going to be crucial. You can do these earlier on if you want to, but I was focused more on expansion here. But the next 2 points are definitely going to go this way into these trading ones, as that's going to allow us to open up and essentially gather all of the stuff, for example, like stone that we don't have in the region right now because we've used it all up, to be able to import that for a very cheap price. So that's kind of what we're aiming to get towards right now on our conquest of this zone, as it were, in the block format. Alright, so bring you all back in on where we're up to then with our block style city, or this kind of divided off into squares section of our medieval town here. As you can see on the map, this is kind of the design that we've gone for, and like I've mentioned a couple of times, we are going to expand eventually around these places, but this is just the basic premise of this video, and I wanted to see whether this eventual kind of block style does work. So you can see in the middle here we've got the marketplace, the church, a few of the stables, storehouses, all that kind of stuff. Then we've got some burgage plots here with farms on, orchard ones over here, farms towards the sides over on these bits, loads more burgage plots and other kind of industry stuff down there, and on the whole it's working pretty good. At this point we're up to almost 230 population, and it's growing by the second here. This is really good, and we've also got quite a lot of housing capacity at 84 right there. Now obviously this would be easy to expand on and get more of. We're really nicely sat at this large village, about to enter the small town section of the game. All we need to get right now is tavern supply. So once I've got a few of these fields of barley grown, so that we can actually make that into malt and then pop that into the tavern, into the brewery, and make ale, then we'll be able to upgrade these to level 3, which will then get us at least up to the small town capacity, which is really, really cool, and that will then get us to the next development point or two. So yeah, in essence, this does actually work, and it's a pretty cool and fun way to play the game, sectioning things off into a couple of burgage plots in this one, a few burgage plots in this one. We're going to have industry here, we're going to have industry over here, farming in these ones, and it does actually make it quite easy for your villagers to get around and for you to know where your stuff is. So all in all, does this style work in Manor Lords? Yes, it does. It's actually pretty good. Is it as effective as some of the other villages? Well, that's something that we are going to discover, so if you'd like to see more of that content here on the channel, let me know in the comments, and let me know what type of village or settlement you would like me to try out next. Whether you want me to build a circle base or something different, we can try that out. But hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you have, do drop me a like and a subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys again very shortly on a brand new upload. Take care, and peace.